Yeah, reviewer, good evening and welcome to Spotlight. With me tonight, a person that we hosted so many times, Justin Dunaskiss. Justin, welcome again and again to MEA TV and Radio.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure and love being here. Thank you.
Thank you. Last time we talked about opportunity for people who are interested in growing marijuana, if it's a caregiver, if it's getting the license from the state and the city to grow 500, 1,000, 15, whatever, So let's continue with that.
Sure.
A person that he want to invest, he's got money and he want to invest to buy or lease a building or a house and to start. How can you start?
Sure. Great questions. And a lot of people are asking the same ones right now.
Yes.
Especially between kind of the caregiving side or the commercial side with the building.
Yes.
So starting on the caregiver side, there's still opportunities to caregive. We have the rights here in Michigan and most other states to, grow plants at your house and supply the patients.
Okay.
So now with that, it's critical to get some professional advice now because there's been a number of court cases that gives the local municipalities now control to really regulate those caregiving activities.
Okay.
So you don't just want to go run out and buy a house in some municipality because it has a barn out back that you think would be good for it. You have to really do your due diligence, see if they have a local ordinance on the caregiving, what their temperament is on it, because the last thing someone would want to do is buy something that they think would work well for them, but the locals won't allow it.
So if let's say a city municipality and they discover there is at least about 200 houses, for people growing marijuana for caregivers, are they allowed to close them down?
Well, yes. Unfortunately, as we're seeing in a number of Metro Detroit communities as well as ones rural, they are doing just that. Areas like Sterling Heights, Warren, you name it. They're all looking at it. And once they pass these ordinances restricting it, they're catching people by ways of looking at if they're pulling permits for HVAC at their home or a mechanical or plumbing permit or complaints or seeing that meter spin because you're taking so much.
Sure.
The inspectors are no dummies. They look at a 2,000 square foot home that has 3 air conditioners. Well, something doesn't add up there.
Absolutely.
So on the caregiving side, there's still opportunity.
How could they avoid that?
Yeah, so what they can do is work with someone like our office or, a professional that can help them really make sure they understand what the local ordinances are, have a relationship or build one with that local unit of government, and then make sure they are on paper, so to speak, be it through if there is a local permit or electrical or mechanical permits or a license to make sure we can codify what they want now, because they also may be open to do it now, or silent on the matter. But if you don't get on the record and they actually pass an ordinance, you could be on the outside looking in, which we hear from a lot.
Okay. Does he have to go to Lansing to get a license?
You do still have to have a caregiver card and register with the state of Michigan.
Okay.
Fortunately, most of that is done online now, so there's really not a whole lot of need to go into their offices, which are in Lansing.
Okay.
So much easier process. 90% of people all do it electronically versus even mailing it in.
Okay.
But very simple process we can help them with. Then obviously you have to have your patients that are under you as a caregiver, which we can advise them on and so forth if they're starting on that side.
Can you help them with the city?
Certainly.
With the municipality to get the permits and all that?
Certainly, and that's a real key component of it. And we do most of our work on the commercial side, which we'll talk about next, but certainly, whatever side someone's on, if they're in the caregiving side or if they want to get, on the commercial regulated side, which we'll talk about, key portion is that local unit of government, which we help with.
Okay. And after that, if they get the permit and the license, municipality, they cannot close it.
Pretty much, right? You'll be grandfathered in.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they do pass an ordinance down the line, you'd be an existing non-conforming use. So just like homes and other things that, get rezoned, as long as you don't make it more non-conforming, you can continue, the new owners can continue doing it what was done at the property.
Okay. How long do they have to go to get this done?
Sure, normally it takes, a matter of weeks, days, or even months to get through the regulatory process.
But the municipality, when do you think that they're going to enforce
We're seeing it more and more that these local units of government, it is more catching on to it, hearing about it. We thought it may have been the bigger cities that have more problems, but we're also seeing rural communities like Almont Township. They have an ordinance restricting certain caregiving. So a lot of communities, rural, urban, suburban, are looking at ordinances for caregiving.
Okay. For somebody who want to invest more, they want to get a building, and of course that building is going to cost them a lot to go 500 or 1,000, or even put a lab, or have a transportation, or have a retail store. So tell me, if somebody want to get that building, what role your office play with?
Oh, great question. And so those that want to get in the commercial space, we specialize in that. And we kind of help clients normally through the entire process, kind of A to Z, with the local and the state. Or we can help them kind of a la carte with certain pieces that they need. So to specifically, what does that mean? So we can first make sure on that local unit of government side that the property meets all the buffers and zoning requirements. Help them with their local application, as 9.5 out of 10 of these communities are going to have a lengthy application process and charge you $5,000 just for the application.
Municipality.
Yes, the locals will.
And the state charge them too, right?
And the state too, yep. And we also help folks with their state licenses. It's kind of like a liquor license or beer and wine or other state regulated license. You have to have both. A local unit of government that allows you to get their license, as well as the state. In the state of Michigan, it's a 2-step process, and both for medical and adult use or recreational. Both a 2-step process. Step 1 is more about the individuals, their background, their wherewithal.
Walk me through.
Yeah.
From he comes to you till you get him the license. With the state first.
Yep. So with the state first, someone come to us and we would tell them of all the rules and requirements for the state application. And then we're going to give them a checklist, very detailed, of the items we're going to initially need. And assign them one of our application specialists, and our client relationship manager will work with them to get all those pieces of information, make the necessary documents, and package the application so we can submit it to the state. Then it will take about a 4-month process.
I believe the state will charge him $6,000.
They will.
For processing fee.
Yes, for each license to the state. Great point. Yep, they're going to charge $6,000 per application for them to review and process.
And if they deny it?
That money's gone. Yeah. Yeah.
Then walk me through.
Yep, great. So you pay the $6,000. Our firm has worked with them, gathered everything, we package it up. Then we continue to hold the client's hand and work directly with the state and their analysts through the entire application process. So as they go through their criminal background, their financial wherewithal, questions they have, we'll hold the client's hands, answer the questions to the state, and get them to get that first step completed, which will give them their pre-qualification. So their step 1. So that's about a 4-month process, 5 months. We can do it inside of that too, just kind of depends on the case. And then once they have that pre-qualification, that's good for 2 years. And that gives you the opportunity to actually go find that local spot and do your second step with the state, which is a step 2, which takes about 2 months. And the step 2 is really site-specific information, like waste disposal plans, security plans, technology plans, various standard operating procedures and things that our office will produce for you, site-specific to your spot, work with the state to then actually get you your true license from the state. And once you do that, you'd pay your regulatory assessment, which is an annual fee from the state. The $6,000 to apply is not. But you'll pay an annual fee of anywhere from the very low end is $4,000. The highest license is about $56,000.
Is that you pay every year?
Correct, every year. And that amount just like our other regulatory agencies, and that it's divided on kind of a prorated share and how much their budget is. So that number does fluctuate annually, but there is an annual fee.
So what you telling me that somebody doesn't have to have a building first and then go to the state? Correct. He could go to the state, get the license, and then go and look for a place to.
Correct. Yeah. Then on the local side, because you're going to need the other side, right?
Exactly.
You can through the state, but you can't do a step 2 because that's all about the building. And then, so we also help clients with the local side of things. Michigan has over 1,600 municipalities,
Uh-huh.
and only about 100 of them allow some form of commercial adult use or recreational cannabis facilities.
I see.
There's very few communities that allow it, and then in those communities, based on buffers and zoning, it's a finite area.
Okay.
So we're very good about educating and telling customers and clients where these areas are currently that are allowing them, ones that are coming up to allow them, and ones in the future that might, so they can go work, establish. We help them find that local spot so they can match up the state with the local process.
Okay. Tell me, what's the difference between somebody go to attorney to handle his case and to you? What's different? Why he should come to you, not go to attorney?
Sure, great question. So we're government affairs lobbyists and consultants.
Okay.
And so one initial difference is we actually helped craft the bills, legislation, and referendums.
You've been working
That
with the
was the
state for a
fun-
long time.
Yeah, so we worked
Yes.
with the state for over 10 years on this policy.
Yes.
So we quite literally know the history, the intent, and kind of the foundation for this industry.
Yes.
And then we've been working with the department, the local units of government, industry, making the day-to-day and the options happen.
Yes.
And then we're still working on policy at the state level to kind of see that crystal ball as to what policy may change so people can make the right business assumptions. So by coming to us, and nothing against attorneys, we just have such a much more depth on the subject matter. We've
You've
done
been
so
involved
many
in
more
it, you know
applications.
what to do and everything, step by step. The attorney will take them probably a whole year to get just 14 things that they wanted from him.
Yeah,
But with you guys, you know exactly what they need.
that's what
Yes.
we see a lot. And we
Yes.
have flat fees, which people really enjoy and appreciate. We don't bill in 15-minute increments. We do this work day in and day out. We have a very large team that does it.
Yes.
So we know what we're up against. We're very good at it. So it's normally a time saver, a money saver, and the biggest thing is results. With our optics and our depth on the industry, we really try to set up the clients for success.
I see.
Anyone can go to an attorney or another consultant, give them a bunch of money, and they can run them around and try to help them. Our whole thing is the time value of money. It's a means to an end, because it's not going to do us any good or the client any good
Sure.
if we waste 6 months and never get anywhere.
Yes. Well, the attorney liked to drag it so they could charge more money.
Hey, right?
You know,
Yeah.
yeah. And you have an office. We have one in Lansing, but I believe you have one in the Tri-County area, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Where is it?
Northern Oakland County, right on the border of Oregon and Oxford, off M24. So
I see. And they could
conveniently
come
and-
to your office and
Certainly,
sit
yeah.
with you. And
Yeah. Me and my team are always open for a free consult initially. We really try to educate our customers, let them know what they're up against, give them realistic ideas on our fees, outside fees, other things and budgets they need to be mindful of
Yeah.
to try to set them up for success.
Okay, approximately how much you charge them from the state till they get to the city and finish
Sure.
the job?
So it all depends on which scope of services they need, but if they kind of need an A to Z service, you're around $20,000 to $40,000, anywhere in between, if you need us to do your local and your state 1 and 2. So with that, we set up flat fees. Most people pay a monthly fee of a couple $1,000s. We amortize it over a number of months because it's going to take that long to get you through the processes. And so they'll pay a flat monthly fee, and then we take them through the step 1 and 2 at the state. We help them find the local option. We do the local application. We develop standard operating procedures and really set them up for success and be that consultant that interacts with the government, the regulated body, which is a big portion of this.
Yes. Is that you could charge a flat fee, or you could somebody retain you for a long term and charge you, and you got to charge them a monthly fee,
Exactly. Yep.
right?
Correct.
Which, in your experience, of course, you handle many of them.
Yeah.
Which one is better? If somebody come, pay you a flat fee, what do you need? $10,000. I pay you $10,000, get me the license, or retain you. So any problem he get in the future, he'll come to you.
Yeah, well, and you're kind of let it right on there. Normally what we find is those that do the monthly retained option, that's kind of an A to Z, and we scope everything out, what you're going to get in that price, of course.
Yes.
They get much more value and more depth on the subject matter. So our fees normally pay for themselves 10 times over on a number of ways, because the savings of getting property before the blood's in the water and the price is through the roof, or picking the wrong HVAC, or these very costly mistakes we see.
Yes.
By using us kind of for everything, we're able to give them all those insights versus, if we're just working on an application, and we love that work too, you don't get as much of the intel depth, and because we're not retained to help you on those other matters. Not to say we won't, but it really helps when someone is saying, okay, we're going on this journey. I need all these pieces. Let's do it.
Yeah, it's for a person who is looking for a long term. Retaining fees will save them hundreds of $1,000.
Yeah.
Are you helping your client to find a building? And if you find a building, do you have you advise them what to do? If it's a plumbing, if it's heating, if it's electricity and all that.
Sure.
Tell me. And I think you have some a draw of some buildings.
Sure.
That how it was before and how it is now.
Yeah,
Can
certainly.
you tell me about it and show the viewer the pictures you have?
Yeah, so
Sure.
And I brought some examples I'll kind of show, and then we'll share it on the screen, I believe, as well.
Yes.
But in general, the first to answer your question, and we'll go into some examples, is yes, we certainly help the client out with the real estate portion of this because it's a very big
You help them
component.
to find it.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, good.
And it's a process. It's not like buying a house, which is a process. Plug in, I want 3 bedrooms, 2 baths.
Get it and that's it.
Yeah, and you get 20 of them. You go look at them. You got to look at a bunch, but then
Sure.
you pick one.
Yeah.
In this industry, you're not going to have a laundry list of options to pick from.
Okay.
So then we really help them and arm them with the information of saying, okay, here are the communities that are allowing them. Here's where you can do it.
Okay.
Here's the ones that are about to allow them and where they're going to do it.
Oh, that's very important.
Very
the one
important.
that
Yeah,
before
before
somebody
everyone
else.
knows,
Go ahead. Yeah.
And then also the long-term ones. If they want to
Okay.
be in a premier market or in a nice corner,
Okay.
well, they may not be ready today or in 3 months, but if we plant the seed, start working with that local unit of government, we will reap the benefits later down, right? So you
Yes.
got to work these communities, get them in a position because it's a newer industry. And so be it on the quick immediate needs, communities that are already happening, to the ones that are warming up and look like they're going to do it, to the ones that the door is open, but it's going to take a while. We help position our clients to find these opportunities. We work with them. We vet the properties to make sure it works on all the buffers and zoning, and then help them get that property because without the property, we can't really do much of a step 2 with the state and go next.
Yeah.
And then to all the details that it takes for the facility, as you kind of mentioned, right? Takes a lot of build out.
Okay.
On average, when someone finds a commercial building and they want to do an indoor commercial cultivation grow,
Let's say 10,000 square feet.
Yeah. On average, people will spend about $70 a square foot, all the way to maybe $150 a square foot to build out the facility, get the lights, the HVAC, the plumbing, and everything to get it ready to turn on the grow. And so for a 10,000 square foot is kind of a nice round number, and that's a good size facility.
Of course, yeah.
You have a building like this. This one's actually in Thetford Township, and this is public information as it's been approved. It's a small former, we'll show a better picture online, a small former basic industrial building that had a small showroom up front with about 8,000 square foot of shop in the back, about 2,000 square foot shop up front.
I see.
Great building for the use. Thetford Township is very open to the industry. They have kind of a green triangle where they allow it. Yeah. So Thetford's been in for a while.
Okay.
And so what these clients look to do, and again, this was, approved through planning, you'll see, is divide it up into a number of grow rooms and utilizing their existing lobby to use some of the existing infrastructure that's there.
Why they divide them? Why they don't,
do one big massive room?
Yes.
Yeah. So the whole goal is to try to get a perpetual.
If you could go back to
Sure,
this,
yeah.
what I understand that if you get licensed for 500, you only grow, or 200, you only grow 200, but you could divide and get multiple license.
Correct. Yeah. So you can get multiple.
So for this, for
Class Cs.
example, he get multiple license for it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can stack Class C licenses, so you can get 1,500 plants, 3,000 plants.
Even if he build in the back,
Sure.
you
Yeah.
know, if you have acres, that's
Yeah.
so it's all he could get multiple license.
Sure.
That's
Yeah.
good.
And it does depend on the local unit of government. The state certainly allows stacking licenses,
Okay.
as well as co-location is the term. If I want to do a grow operation and then a processing lab to make my medical infused products or edibles and those things.
Well, that's allowed in the same,
and retail
property.
Yeah, you could
same property. I mean, they could grow and then you could
they could go seed to sale right in the same location.
Oh wow!
You'd still have to use a lab, of course, to test the product and so forth.
Yeah, you get a license for each one different.
Yeah,
but you could divide the property to that.
Exactly. Yeah, and you could even kind of like a strip center or a multi-tenant industrial building. You could have a secure transporter on site. Now they have to be like a strip center where Jimmy John's is in one, but you could also have a Tubby's. That's fine, right? Because they're different. It's one building. So same thing can happen in that scenario.
Okay. If somebody have a vacant land, can you get a license for that?
Sure. In communities, 9 out of 10 or maybe 9.5 out of 10 normally love a new facility, right? They like the new tax base, the build-to-suit.
Yes.
So we really enjoy working on those because then instead of retrofitting a former, showroom space, what have you, you're building the shell you want from the start.
Yes.
So building costs are a little higher right now, but still with the per cost and the pricing on the cannabis properties, build-to-suit opportunities are very attractive still and good options.
And a lot of building probably doesn't fit exactly for what you need.
Yeah.
But when you build it yourself, you're not losing any inch.
Exactly.
You build exactly what you need.
Yeah. And it's amazing that build-out cost I mentioned. Some people spend $200 a square foot retrofitting these places to get them ready and get all the lights in there and so forth versus, if you're putting so much into a bad shell, why don't we build a better shell to start with and we don't have it? Yeah. So build-to-suits are a great option. Most people want to try to set up some sort of perpetual grow or perpetual harvest rather. So every, whatever their cycle is, week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, they're having a crop come down.
I see.
It's not very advantageous to flower all if you have a 500 plant, do all 500, chop them all down, then start again to grow another 500. Because as you would assume, and just like in manufacturing, you'd have huge bottlenecks.
Yes.
You want an assembly line kind
flour,
of keep moving.
and then from there, and you could all year around move the operation.
Yeah.
Yes.
So most people, that's why they'll set up, maybe one, they'll have a clone room or a mother room, or maybe they're using tissue cultures to create the babies, so to speak, right? And then once a plant hits 8 by 8 inches, it's technically a plant with the state. And so you have your clone room and mother rooms to make the babies. Then you're going to start out, folks will have vegetation rooms. And then that vegetation room will typically feed maybe 3 flower rooms.
Yes.
And then it's kind of a multiple. So then you add another bedroom and 3 or 4 more flower rooms. And it kind of scales from there. And then you're going to time those different flower rooms of when you're going to bring them down so that perpetual harvest has a cycle.
Okay, one more thing. For vacant lot, he needs the water and he needs electricity. And of course, electricity is by far more than you need at home.
Correct.
It's about up to 4,000, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that you could easily use 4,000 amps, no problem in these facilities.
Yes.
On a 20,000
so you have to
square
put
foot.
the plumbing and the electricity and everything.
And so one of the biggest things, I'm glad you brought that up. Another thing why working with our firm or a similar firm, we've been in this 10 years and have seen these constraints on the market, on the properties. Okay. So Harrison Township is one we'll mention on the east side of our state. They've opted in to allow caregiving and industrial, allow commercial grows, both medical and adult use. In their industrial area, it's worked great. With the community and with the municipality, what hasn't worked great, not to beat up on our great utility companies, the grid is strained over there. And so there's not enough power to support these grow facilities. Okay. So that's why it's really important to do your due diligence.
Can you help them
work
with
someone certain.
Can you help them with that to get the 4,000?
Correct, yeah. There's cogeneration options, the right due diligence up front. Because again, our whole goal for our clients, set them up for success. Yes. There's 1,000 ways to do it wrong and, blow up and not make this thing work for you. Sure. Our goal is kind of play whack-a-mole, knock those things down and set people up.
And, especially, if it's the state or municipality, you do a small thing wrong and they'll jump on you and then they drag it for a year.
Yeah, exactly.
But with your help, you could advise them from the start. And if there is any problem, you could work with the municipality or the state to take care of it.
Exactly. That's what we aim to do for folks. Yeah.
Okay. Justin, in the past 6 months or so, a lot of counties and municipalities, they putting a green zone. They seen other cities making money out of the taxes and all that, and it's a great idea for any county and any municipality to have a green zone, part of that a green zone, so could people come and bring the money and you said enhance and pay taxes and all that. Tell me, what's the future for Michigan?
Sure. So what we're seeing is kind of a patchwork of communities that are being open to cannabis and allowing opportunities.
Okay.
And like in most business, money and opportunity flows the path of least resistance. And so as soon as these green zones and opportunities are created,
from the citizen of that municipality.
Exactly, right? So, and we can look at rural communities like Lenox Township or Harrison Township on the east side. Harrison a little more populated.
How about further north?
Sure. Folks like Traverse City have about a dozen retail. As we come south, Saginaw's finalizing their ordinance.
Are they?
Bay City is already in.
Well, Bay City too?
Yeah. Flint is allowing that.
So that's been, it's growing.
Yep. Yeah. So more and more communities are coming online, and with the current economic hit due to the COVID crisis, I think we're going to see more communities start coming online because they're not going to see other economic opportunity in drivers.
Yes.
I'm not sure how many more hotels we're going to see, popping up other than the ones that are already being built, and some other things are taking a little hit. So these are the new traffic drivers, the new economic development.
Absolutely. This is the new things, and the more in the municipality or the county, the better for them, They collect more taxes. And the city, municipality, what they benefit from giving you opportunity to open?
Yep, great question. So municipalities, first off, obviously they're supporting the citizens' will and wish, right? It was voted on this matter kind of quite a number of times now. So really, first off, it's, honoring what the wish of the community is. It's saying, okay, it's 2020 now, almost 2021. Marijuana is legal for recreational medical use.
Yes.
Stop treating it like the devil's lettuce and
it's becoming profitable for all the state and municipalities.
So first, that's one of the biggest things. But then economically, they're going to see all sorts of great options because a build-a-suit or someone coming in and retrofitting an old dilapidated industrial building or retail shop, you get that new breath and new business in your community, which then, the jobs, the personal property tax, the real property tax that's created, as well as the jobs. Most jobs start out at $15 an hour in most of these facilities, minimum.
They're paying them $20, $25 an hour, believe me. Yeah.
And then there is direct revenue through the way of licensing fees. Most local municipalities charge $5,000 for commercial facilities on an annual basis per license.
Every year.
Yeah, every year.
So that license is not like forever for the state and the city and municipality.
Yep.
Both of them renew.
Yep, every year you gotta renew.
And every year they have to pay the same?
Yes, so locally, pretty much they'll charge you $5,000 in most communities every year. And then at the state, depends on what the forecast is for the final year, is an estimate. So that number will fluctuate, but you will always pay a fee to the state.
I see.
And then there's also some tax revenue sharing. We don't normally lead with that because right now, a good portion of the money first gets stockpiled for grants to support research for veterans and others through the use of cannabis.
Nice.
And then, but that fund's building up quickly, so soon there will be further distributions to the municipalities that allow the retail outlets, be it the micro businesses or the marijuana retailers, the dispensaries. They will be getting a prorated share of the state taxes.
Great. We know a lot of state is, passing the ordinance to grow. And I believe it went to the Congress to be a national.
Yes.
But we think the Senate probably, if it's controlled by Republicans, they might deny it. But most of the state, do that and all that. Okay. What's your advice to somebody that he's thinking for opportunity with all those municipalities open with a green zone?
So right now it's a great time to get in because we're still at the beginning of the market here in Michigan and most other states.
Yes.
Not a lot of states have been in this for 8 years, like Colorado, and now have kind of a normalized market, right?
Hundreds of millions of dollars.
Exactly. Yeah. And so, so the recommendation would be, now is the best time to be getting in because we're kind of on the upswing, and before you have market normalization, large competition, it's better to come in and kind of learn on a supply short market,
Yes.
Why it's kind of hot in demand and growing versus kind of a saturated established market.
What's demanding for the marijuana?
So the demand is very high on the supply side,
Yes.
as well as the retail. So some numbers. In March of this year, there was about $52 million in cannabis sales, both medical and adult use.
Wow.
By July of this year, it was $109 million a month between medical and adult use. So in a matter of 4 months or what have you, it doubled.
By end of 21, it'll be 1 billion.
Oh, more. Yeah, they
Yes.
think it'll be almost 3 billion or plus in
Wow.
Michigan in a few years.
Yeah.
So
And I advise in business, and we are in many businesses, if you start getting involved in business when it's produced to the community, is the best opportunity. Because after that, you'll have everywhere and your opportunity is gone.
yeah, they're small.
So I advise now. Okay. What I was to ask you. If somebody wanna buy the lot, can you advise them that is this lot could be a place for growing or not? That's one. Second, if there is one in a small city, and there's very small cities everywhere, can you, with your help, help them to get that city approved? So if you could answer for the first and then the second.
Yeah, great question. So we can, certainly assist on both. So our office does a lot of, I call them property vettings.
Okay.
So, I have this piece of property or parcel or property in the community. Yes. Hey, does it work or not? Our office and staff look at the property, measure it on the global information systems, look at the zoning maps, look at the buffers, work with the municipality to make sure, yes, does this meet or not? And then also, should you say have a piece of property that you think works very well for this use and so forth, but the community hasn't opted in, we can help them with that.
How you could help them with that?
We do that work all the time, and it's again normally on a monthly retainer basis for that side of the work, and we go and we work and engage these communities. Yes. And it's through advocacy, education, and basically hand-holding that we work with them to show them what this industry really is, help dispel mistruths. And then the other nice thing is now that we've been at it for 10 years, we have quite the Rolodex and peer-to-peer examples we can give them. And so if we're talking to a city manager, we can say, don't take our word for it. Here's 10 city managers that have gone through the same similar thing. Yes. So now that we've had some, history and success, we can build upon that and kind of, it used to be, we're going to wait and see. This isn't right for us. Well, now with communities from, rural, affluent, blue collar, white collar, they're all opted in. So we have examples from an Ann Arbor, big downtown, to a rural Lenox, to a conservative Orion Township, to what have you. We can show that the sky doesn't fall when these places come to town. Really, no one really knows they're even there like the other businesses. And we can dispel those mistruths, hold their hand, and get them through the entire process, through developing the ordinances, applications, and so forth. Okay,
if somebody, for example, buy a building or vacant lot, can you probably change the zoning to be a green zone?
That's one of the things actually our office does a lot of too. So be it a rezoning, a variance, a waiver,
so we could
conditional rezoning. Sure, we do a lot of that work and so forth. Yep.
I see. Any other thing that you think it's important that the viewer want to hear from you? And of course, we broadcast all over the nation.
Yeah.
So a lot of people in California, Chicago, Florida, everywhere, they might listen to you. Can you serve them?
Certainly, yeah. And we just had 5 more states, come online or coming online because of the voters with some recent votes. Okay. And so we've done work in 10 different cannabis states now on cannabis policy specifically.
Which is?
Successfully. Everywhere from Colorado, Missouri, California, Illinois, Ohio, Maine,
So they could contact you,
Sure,
and you could work with them
Yes.
for the license and whatever they need.
Yeah.
You know.
And if it's a newer market, like let's say Mississippi, right?
Okay.
They are now going to be going through the same motions that our state went
I
through
think every state
to
will
set
go.
up their medical,
I
right?
think every state.
So we can show them the crystal ball. Hey, here's what happened in Michigan. And that's what we did a lot of early on, too, is we went to Colorado mainly 10 years ago, a little bit of California later, then Oregon, some others to say what works, what doesn't work. We met with the big players out there, the small players, the marijuana enforcement directors, the revenue directors, the attorneys, the legislators.
You done a lot of...
Because, it's pretty much apples to apples. Now, each way the state, has written their referendum and so forth, there's going to be differences, right?
Yes.
But there's reoccurring themes and good best practices and so forth. We apply those to other states and really give people a strategic edge because we've done these same motions in other states. No use recreating the wheel. There will be different nuances, but we can help them get ahead, let them know what's forthcoming, how these things evolved, and so forth.
Okay. How they could contact you? Is there a phone number? Is there a website that they could go and look what do you offer and what you?
Certainly, all the above. Our website, and we'll put it on the screen as well. But it's www.dunaskiss.biz, which is DUNASKISS.biz. We also are on social media. They can call me directly. 248-693-1391 is the main office line. You can ask for myself or one of our staff will help you. Feel free to ask for me, Justin Dunaskiss, directly.
Yes.
And then we can also supply my email and other things on there, but we're very accessible. We have a large staff that focuses just on cannabis policy, let alone our other government affairs work, and we're well suited.
We're going to put the website and the phone number on the screen.
Wonderful.
For anyone that want to contact you, they could do that. Well, Justin, thank you so much for this information. And I know a good percentage of the Middle Eastern community, they involve and they want to get involved.
They are, yeah.
So you are honestly the destination that could take care of a lot of things for them.
Thank you.
So thank you for that.
Wonderful. Thank you. Appreciate the time as always.
Pleasure.
It. Thank you.
Dear viewer, that was my interview with Justin Dunaskiss. Honestly, their firm is one of the main firms. It's been exists for over 10, 15 years. They've been working with the cities, with the states, and they were working with a lot of municipalities. And sometimes you pass the state, but the municipality is the problem. And that's why you should go to them, because they have that connection. They know how to talk to the municipality. They don't know what's the municipality they need, so they could prepare for that and help you preparing for that. And honestly, don't do it yourself, because you're going to fail. And they're going to drag you for years. And you're going to waste your money. Go to their firm and their website and their phone number there. Call them. Visit their website and check it. And we're satisfied. Give them a call. And I think if you are interested and if you are for a long term, I think the best thing to do is to contact them, because they will hold your hand to the end. And any problem you have, they will take care of it. Thanks for watching and good night.